You know what I absolutely hate is that phrase, it's hard to change. No, screw that noise. It doesn't have to be hard to change. And in this video, we're going to be talking about how to actually change where you make a difference and change your life. And you know the old saying, if nothing changes, then nothing changes. It's obviously not rocket science, and we all know that we need to change, but yet we find it hard to change. And we can't really understand why. Because the reality is, if you stay the same, you're not going to change. And if you're watching this right now and you're fat, you're lazy, you're undisciplined, you're broke, you're depressed, you're sad, then good. Then something must actually change. You must actually change. So this is how you actually do that. As the reality is, you've probably spent a lot of time trying to actually change. You've really put in the effort. It's not like you don't want to. It's not that you're like, this just idiot human being that you just are incapable of change. You've tried to, you've wanted to, you've desired to, you've tried and desired to get in better shape. But you can't get yourself to consistently go to the gym, and so therefore you're still fat. You want to get in better shape, so you try to not eat bad food, but then you eat the cheesecake or you eat the key lime pie anyways, and you're still fat, right? You're broke, but you want to make more money. You try all these different things, but you can't stick with it. You can't change, and so you're still broke. And I get it. I've been there. You may be someone that is beyond frustrated to a point of tears frustration. I've been there. I've cried my eyes out because I just can't change and I can't figure out why. Where you keep wanting to do something, trying to change, working hard, and then for some reason regressing and going back to your original version of yourself, not being able to change and not having anything actually change in your life. And the reality is you may be so excited about your future, so excited about who you could become, so excited for your friends and your family and your life and yourself and what you can do and what you can accomplish, where you're having a great and fulfilling life, but you're just missing something. And in this video, I'm going to share with you that missing piece. But the first thing you have to understand is all of this, everything when it comes to change and having a better life stems from one thing. That's your actual identity and the skills and knowledge and steps required to actually make that change. Because the change is not out here. It's all right here. And you have to better understand yourself and your mind and how the universe works to be able to hack change for good. But at the end of the day, most people don't actually know how to change and how all this works. And later in this video, I'm going to share with you the exact example of how I quit junk food, any bad food, together for the rest of my life. And you may be like, yeah, bullshit, that's not going to happen, But it's gotten to a point where I'm disgusted with junk food. And this is coming from a guy that used to not just eat one slice of key lime pie. Those guys are losers. I would eat an entire key lime pie from Sam's. It's like a 30-ounce key lime pie. I would eat an entire box of donuts. I would buy cereal to eat the entire box, not just have one bowl. So I've had my struggle with this, just like you are struggling now. So let me help you fix it. So I've really been able to synthesize this down into 6 steps. And the way I've really been able to do this is through constant self-reflection. As you can see right here, I have over 1,300 voice memos on my phone, and pretty much 95 to 99% of those are just talking to myself, trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with me, trying to figure out what the hell's going on in my head, trying to figure out how this world and this universe works so I can be who I want to be and have the life that I want to have. And just because I love you guys, I want to make this as easy as possible to change your life. I'm going to link down below just a free resource that essentially is like a Notion document to help you go through some exercises and think through things, along with a pretty snazzy little graphic of the entire process to help you out. And of course, by downloading that, you give me your email and I'm going to send you a newsletter every week on how to actually get better, called the BetterNut newsletter. But before we jump into the 6 steps, you may be asking, why is it so hard to change? And right there, that mindset, that question that I know you're asking, because I've asked it myself, is one of the issues. You have to change that belief. That's a wrong belief. You know how I just mentioned it's going to take some work? It's going to take some work to change yourself. You're going to have to put in some work to be able to go through this and actually change. I use that very specifically. I use the word work, not it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. Because there's no point of saying that anything is going to be difficult. There's no point of saying anything is going to be hard. It could be. It could be, quote, the hardest thing you've ever done in your life, but it's all relative. There's no benefit ever in saying something's going to be hard. You might as well just say it's going to be easy, and if it turns out being hard, then shit, okay, fine. But there's no point of conditioning yourself and having your outlook go into everything and telling yourself, well, this is going to be hard, this is going to be difficult, well, shit, this is going to be the hardest thing, and this is going to suck. Like, why? It doesn't make sense to live like that. You can choose to be positive or you can choose to be negative. And you see, what I'm doing here in these types of videos, I am reprogramming you. It's all very intentional. I'm reprogramming you. So you're really going to have to watch these videos multiple times because your brain's going to pick up on different things and you're going to realize different things and your brain's going to connect the dots to different things as you watch these videos over and over again, and you're going to come to different realizations. You're going to take one sentence that I say out that you didn't catch last time, and it's going to connect a dot, and your mind's going to light up like the 4th of July. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I finally get it. I didn't catch that before. And that's just one of those pieces. Now, this first step in this process, I can almost guarantee you have not done this because 99% of people have not done this. And yes, I did just get a haircut, but it has to do with being intentional with designing your life. You see, most people are like feathers, really. They just kind of blow through life. They're really airy and they have no spine. Really, they're kind of like those wacky, waveable, inflatable tube men, right? They really don't have a spine. They really don't have any purpose. They don't really walk through life with structure, with purpose, with, knowing where they're going, knowing what they're doing, knowing who they are. They're just floating. They're just existing with really no real intention or strategy or direction in life. They just roll with the punches. And you see, this was me growing up. I was very concerned about what I was going to do, how my life was going to turn out, and I didn't really know really what I even liked. But the crazy thing was I didn't really sit down and get clear. I didn't really sit down and research and go down and deep and design the life that I wanted to have. I just kind of said, okay, well, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. And that may be what you're doing now. And even if you did sit down for a little bit and think, hey, this is kind of what I want to do, I can almost guarantee you your goals suck. And you're like, oh, Rhett's telling me my goals suck. Well, they do because they're small, they're tiny, they're minuscule compared to what you could do, what you could be. If you have sat down and looked at your goals and had goals and try to design what you want out of your life, I can almost guarantee your goals are 1,000th of what they should be. Which is why you need to really sit down and design and get very clear on your life that you want and who you want to be. It's intentional with this. Because at the end of the day, there's two types of people. The first one is they just have never sat down and they're completely unclear on what they want and who they want to be and what kind of life they want to have, and they just float through life. And then there's the second person that maybe has done this, but they haven't gone deep enough. But the common theme with both of these people and most everyone is they spend more time getting clear on the life that they do not want versus the life that they do want. They get more clear and spend more time focusing on the shit that they don't want, instead of focusing on all their time and effort on the things that they do want. And that is what you attract, what you focus on, what you give energy to, what you think about, what you feel about is what you attract. If you're constantly walking through life feeling negative, feeling fear, feeling doubt, thinking about the crap that you don't want, feeling angry, that's what you're going to attract more of. Thinking about the past, thinking about all the stuff that stresses you out, thinking about all your failures and how you suck. That's who you're going to continue to be. The great thing is you can choose who you want to be, who you want to change into. Because the winners in life, they don't focus on all that. They constantly have a reel going in their head of positive words, of affirmations, of who they want to be, of who they are. They command who they are, thinking about their future, thinking about how that's going to feel, thinking about all the great stuff that they're going to have, that they're going to be, that they're going to experience, feeling it. And that's the source code for unlimited drive and motivation. That's just a whole nother topic. But it's getting clear down to the very last detail. Who you want to be, who your best self is, and getting down to the very detail of what that life looks like. It's even giving yourself an alter ego name. There's a book called The Alter Ego. It's a great book. You can pick it up if you want. But the idea is you can give yourself an alter ego where you can step into that person. Even give it, like I said, a different name. My alter ego is Rhett fucking Taylor. Because that's what I want to be. That's who I want to be. When people describe me, it's not like, oh, cute little Rhett. No, it's Rhett fucking Taylor. Rhett fucking Taylor. That's who that is. I'm very clear on who that person is, and I'm getting clearer and clearer every day because I work on it. I think about it, because what other higher calling is there than to build your best self? Yet people just go through life not being clear, not building themselves, just existing and letting other people push them around in life. So an example of getting clear on every last detail is something that I like to call acting as if. It's kind of like smelling the leather. It's kind of like practicing success. And what does that look like when it comes to designing your life? Well, once again, this should be fun. But the idea is you want to, if you want a car, say you want an Aston Martin or a Lamborghini or whatever you want, or a house or anything, whatever you want, it's your life. Whatever you want, it's about having fun with it. It's about going on to the car website and figuring out, okay, what do I want? What features do I want? What color do I want? Where can I buy it? Where is it available now? How does financing work? How much does it cost? How much does it cost to pay cash? How much does it cost to finance it? How much does it cost to lease it? Where can I get it? And doing that with everything, and this is something you should do once a week, a couple times a week, is just taking some time to dream. Because a lot of the time we become adults and we just forget to dream. We get so caught up in our life and caught up in all of the stuff we have to do, and that's a whole other thing. There's nothing you have to do. It's you get to do. You have one freaking life, and it's not like you have to do this life. I don't think anybody should kill themselves, really, and I'm not, saying do this, but like, it's almost like if you have to do this life, you might as well just end it. Because life is not an obligation, it's a gift. That's a whole nother thing. But the idea is taking some time to dream, to have some fun, to design and play around. What this does, this isn't just like fairy stuff. What this does is it changes your mind to focus on what you want. It puts out in the universe, because the entire universe is just energy. We're not real. It's just our consciousness. Our consciousness is just doing what it can to process all this information, all the bits of data in the universe, to create the reality that we are perceiving right now. And that's a whole nother video that I'm going to talk about later, but this should be fun. Detail what you want. Design your life. Now, you know how I mentioned I would just inhale key lime pie? Well, let me take you back to a time that I was doing that. It was like the day after I just ate an entire key lime pie. And this brings us into our next point, the next step in the process. And the thing was, I was sitting there, literally just sitting there with my shirt off and looking at, watching a movie or something. And I just looked down. I felt physically not very good. I felt mentally not very good and sharp. And overall, I just looked down at myself and was disappointed, was ashamed, was upset. And I just started to ask myself questions. And what you're going to realize, and I'm hoping you start realizing, is all about thinking, metacognition, asking questions about yourself and asking questions so you can figure out and think through answers. But I was there looking at myself, asking questions, and this is how I came up with the ability, this whole process, but at the same time, the ability for me to never eat junk food again. It's been months since I have committed to this, and I haven't eaten a single peanut with chocolate on it. There was an option there to do that, but now I'm repulsed by bad food. It's not something I even consider doing. It's not something I want to do because it just doesn't make sense. And that's what leads us here into this next point, is what the next step that needs to happen is you need to get very clear when it comes to a change that you're looking to make on both of the realities. The reality of you doing that change and the reality of you not doing that change. So for example, with my story and how this worked for me, I was like, I don't want to eat bad food anymore. So I want to have a perfect diet, right? I want to have a perfect diet and not eat bad food anymore. So I get very clear on what that life looks like, having a perfect diet. How do I feel? What do I look like? What do I look like in the mirror? What's my mental state like? What's my physical state like? What do other people view me like? Right? Going through different scenarios of, being able to take my shirt off and be proud, be able to feel good mentally and physically, be proud that I'm in shape, be happy that I'm actually healthy, right? Getting very clear on all those emotions, all those feelings of what that looks like. And then what I want you to do is go and do the opposite. Go do the same process of painting the picture out, but for the negative. What does that look like? And the key here is to really, it's to feel it. Feel what that feels like, because feelings are very powerful for changing yourself and really latching on to something. And what I did is I got very clear on what that reality looks like if I just continue to eat junk food and eat shit food. I would be fat. I'd look down and be, not proud. I'd be a bit sad, and, depression is not real, but, lack of a better word, feeling depressed. I wouldn't want to take my shirt off because I'm not in shape. I wouldn't be proud of myself. I would feel bad physically and mentally. I wouldn't look good in clothes. I wouldn't feel like I'm doing my best work as myself and doing the best thing I can in this life. And I got very clear on what that felt like. And it just depends on who you are, what's going to drive you more. Is the fear of that life and the pain of that life a bigger driver for you? For me, in this specific scenario, it was. Because I've been shredded, I know what that feels like. But for you, maybe the dream of that life is a lot bigger of a motivator. And this is what helps you be able to commit and step into and give yourself permission to be this person. This is a thing you keep in your mind, a tool that you keep in your mind when you go and you want to do something stupid. You want to go eat junk food. You think of this. You think of the negative scenario of you doing that, what that looks like, what that feels like. And eventually, once you practice that, once you get clear on that, once you think about that, think about it enough and rehearse it enough, it takes some reps. You get to a point where it just doesn't make sense. It's like, okay, I want to run a mile. Great, that's the goal. But you don't run at all. You don't do anything to run. You do everything you can that's going to hinder you from running. It's basically shooting yourself in the foot constantly when it comes to, eating bad food. You're going to eat bad food. And so it's just illogical when it comes to your goal. What do you want? You want to be in shape. Okay, so it's just illogical for you to eat bad food. But before, once again, you can completely step into this new identity, you need to lay out and get very specific with that new person, with that new identity. You need to get clear on what his beliefs are, what his or her beliefs are, what they think, what you think. You need to get very clear on a couple things with this new identity. What kind of actions do you take? What is your mindset? What beliefs do you have? And this is something that you're going to just have to work through. You have to write them down. You're going to have to think about your current beliefs. You're going to have to analyze different situations that come up in life and be like, okay, what am I thinking here? I have this certain belief that's causing me to do this. Is asking, why do I struggle with taking action? And that's a different, answer for everybody, but you can't come to the solution without asking the question. And so it's about laying out and describing more specifically when it comes to the identity, the mindset, the beliefs, the actions behind this new person, and getting very clear on those. And at the same time, what you're going to potentially struggle with is you're going to have beliefs holding you back that you didn't think you had. For example, I had this belief and had this thing holding me back in my mind of, not allowing me to commit to eating, only good food and never eating bad food. And what was holding me back was, man, I feel like I'm going to be missing out. If I commit to never eating bad food again, I feel like I'm missing out on eating bad food and having fun with that. And what I was able to do was think about that, reverse that, and think about, the positive of that. But more specifically, what I did is I was able to realize that, you know what? Maybe it's not fun. You know what's more fun? What's more fun? What's more fun is feeling great. What's more fun is looking in the mirror and being proud and fulfilled. What's more fun is not being a fat piece of shit that has no energy and feels like shit. What's more fun is looking amazing in the mirror for yourself and other people and just feeling better. That's more fun than eating a fucking key lime pie or some donuts or some shit food. Because now in my mind, when I try to do that or anything else that is not against, not in line with being my best self, what I'm really doing is just choosing to be a bitch, choosing to be weak. Because everything's a choice. When you don't go to the gym, you're choosing to be a bitch. You're choosing to be weak. It's a choice. Same with bad food. If you committed to not eating bad food and you go and eat bad food, you're choosing to be a bitch. You're choosing to be weak. It's not this fairy stuff that, oh, I had no control. You have control of everything that you do and think. Because at the end of the day, who you are is just, all of this isn't real. You're just made up of your consciousness, and your consciousness is just made up of your identity, your beliefs, your mindset, and the actions that you take. That's all it is. You're in control of every bit of it because you are, hear this, a new you every moment. There's no past, there's no future. All we have is right now. You're a new you every moment, so that means you get to choose who you are every moment. And the way I like to describe this is, we're not horses. You'd be like, what are you talking about? We're not horses. Horses, if you've seen a horse be born, he pops out and he's like walking within like a minute. He's born to know how to be a horse and do horse things. Horses know how to be horses from day one. They're installed with a set of parameters that says, I'm a horse. And there's, you don't see horses getting up and walking on two legs. Horses are limited to being horses, both in their physicality and their mind. But the amazing thing, my friends, is with this, with being a human, we're not born with any predetermined structure. When we're born, we don't know how to do shit. We can't walk, we can't talk. All we can do is breathe, eat, and shit. And we really can't even eat. We have to learn and develop to eat. All we do is drink and shit and cry and breathe. That's all we pretty much do. And that's the amazing thing, is we're born with a blank slate, a blank canvas to be able to paint who we want to be on it. The only thing holding you back from changing and being you is you in your mind. And that just comes down to taking the intention and getting clear on who you want to be, not who you don't want to be. What reality you want to have, not the reality you don't want to have. Because what you focus on is what you attract, and what you attract is what you get. So one of the biggest things that held me back from changing was I was scared. I was scared that if I committed to changing and I regressed, that would mean that I was incapable of truly changing, that I truly was just a weak little bitch that didn't even have control of his own self. And therefore, I never gave myself permission to change, permission to step into this new identity, because I was acting and living and thinking from a place of fear and thinking from a place of the past. Because when you're stuck in the past, when you're always thinking about the past and things and negative things and things that happened in the past, how many times am I going to say past? But when you're always living in that past, you can't operate and move to the future. You can't create from a place of the past. And really, at the end of the day, what's holding you back from stepping into it, from giving yourself permission to be it, to have it, to live that life is yourself, but it's really just a belief that you have in your mind that is working against you. So you need to ask yourself, what is holding me back? What is holding me back from just fully embracing this new version of myself and stepping into that new version? Let yourself think. The way I think is I record voice memos on my phone. So I can record what I'm saying and review what I said back, be able to think through it, because I think through things by talking, right? You need to think through things the way that you think through them. And you need to sit and think through what beliefs, what thoughts, what feelings are holding me back from just saying fuck it and stepping into my new self. One of the things I do is go, refer back to those two realities. What reality do you want to have? What reality are you choosing? Your best reality or your worst reality? Because it's all a choice. So speaking of asking questions and challenging beliefs, this leads us into our last step. And you see, I was in the shower, and I do a lot of thinking in the shower. Some people walk and think, and some people sit and think. I shower and think. # shower and think. But what I was doing in the shower is I was thinking, I was frustrated. I was frustrated on why I could not change, why I struggled with changing, why this was so freaking difficult. And I just asked that question. I was like, okay, well, why is this so difficult? What is so hard about just going to the fucking gym? It's just, what I don't get it. And I asked myself that, and I thought through it. And what I came up with was this last step. Was once you identify yourself, who you want to be, and all the things we've gone through, and specifically when it pertains to this, the actions, getting clear on the actions that need to be done to be that person, to have that life, what needs to happen is you need to take those actions as if they were default, as if they're natural, as if they're normal, as if you've been doing those actions for 5 years. where you wouldn't know any other thing. It's just normal for you. Because the thing is, when it comes to actions and changing, we start to try to do something new. And then all of our programming, all of our past, all of the stuff that's happened in our past is still in our brain. All the stuff is, all the stories, all the ideas, all the information, it goes and says, well, that's not us. That's not who we are. We don't do that. That's not what we normally do. This is different. This is not who we are. So your brain's going to make it difficult for you to step into that and just do those actions. You know, you have those conversations in your head. Well, I said I was going to go to the gym today, and then you start having these justifications, these excuses, these stories, these conversations in your head trying to justify why you should not do what you said you're going to do. Because our brain knows exactly what to tell us to get us to be comfortable. And the solution to this is taking those actions and doing those actions like it was default, like it's normal, like it's something you do every day, like it's something you have done for the last 10 years. Not letting yourself fall into that little fucking pool of your past stories, your past thoughts, your past identity, telling yourself this isn't who you are. You choose who you are. You are a new you each moment. There is no past, there is no future. All you have is now. They're a new you. You're a new you. You're a new you. You're a new you. Every single moment. And you get to choose who you are. So you can release all of the past stories. You can release all that past stuff holding you back. You can release it all and say, I don't need you anymore. Let me step into this new version of myself. And then take those actions like their default. And then lastly, it just comes down to realizing that reality. Of course, this is going to take some time to be able to have all of this come to fruition. But one last thing I wanted to say is you may have a struggle here when it comes to further stepping into your best self. Fully committing, because you may have this belief, for example, I had this belief that, I was slightly concerned of, okay, this new life may be really hard. Like just thinking about every day having to work out, every day having to do these certain things, every day being super difficult and just terrible. And you can see how all those words are so damaging, how all of that stuff is so negative. I have to. It's going to be hard. It's going to suck. How am I going to do this? And when you constantly think this stuff and feel this stuff, it's no wonder you don't want to change. You see change and, doing that and improving like it sucks, like a negative thing. And what you have to realize is you're unclear on two things. You're unclear and need to address the beliefs you have around changing, beliefs you have around that new reality, and address those. And two, you need to get very clear on what the fuck you're here to do on this planet. What is the point of your life? Because you're most likely just wasting your life. You're shitting your life down the fucking shithole. Because you're just that floppy man, flopping around through life, not doing anything, not changing, not thinking about yourself, about who you are, about how you're thinking, about trying to improve, not designing your life and designing who you want to be. You're just existing. And it's asking yourself, what am I here to do? Why do I do things? Why do I even work out? Why do I work? Why do I just exist? What the fuck is the point? It's getting clear on that. And my clarity came through the point of life. The why I'm here is to be the best version of myself that I can be. To have the best life that I can have, because this life is not an obligation. It's a gift. It's an opportunity. This is it. There's nothing else. This is the donut at the end of the rainbow. This is the pot. This is the thing. This is the reward. It's this life. And yet we treat every day, in every instance, and life as something we have to do. Oh, we have to live life. Oh, we have to do this thing. We get to. This is it. What else are you going to do? And just remember, you're limitless. The Bible said we are made in God's image. That means we are a God. We're not big G God, but we are a God. We are limitless. We can do and be anything. It's all in your control. So take this video, download those resources down below, go through it, do the work. Put this into action and change. Leave your comments down below. But the issue here is, all of this can be not very useful if you lack one thing. If you lack confidence. Confidence is the key to everything. It's the secret key lock to having the very best life and achieving anything and everything. And you can learn more about that in this video right here. But otherwise, if this new identity that you are wanting to have and creating is one of which that is making a lot of money, but you don't know how, then click the first link down in, then click the second link down in my description on a free training on how I make all my money online.